Okay, Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
We are back. We are continuing with our look at the triennial Torah portion. Today, we're going to be looking at the book of Vayikra, Leviticus chapter 3. Chapter 3, we'll just look at this one chapter in its entirety. And we'll be dealing with the peace offering. We're going to be talking about the peace offering. We'll look at the various significances of the peace offering, literal, spiritual significances, how we're able to think about, this thing that, was a main part of the sacrificial system when there was a tabernacle, there was priests. When we, hear people talk about, the law being done away with, and I've even heard people talk about in the millennial kingdom that there won't be no sacrifices because Yeshua, he did away with sacrifices. But today, what we're going to be looking at is a perfect example of something that it didn't have anything to do with sin, right? There's many sacrifices that we're able to look at in the scriptures and see that they didn't have anything to do with the sin offering, right? Everything's not about a problem, right? Everything's not like fixing a mistake, right? And so we have to be able to understand that there may not be a sin offering. Yeshua, he deals with sin. He's going to the thing that he's already done eternally will eternally ratify and eliminate all sin. But when we talk about the sacrifices, all sacrifices don't have to do with that. And so we want to go ahead and get into this and look and see just one example of that in Leviticus chapter 3. So I'll go ahead and pull up Leviticus and we'll see what Leviticus chapter 3. We'll go ahead and just read through the chapter, and then we'll come back and talk about it. Let me pull this on the screen here.
Ready?
Yeah.
And if that which he presents is a slaughtering of peace offerings, if he is bringing it of the herd, whether male or female, he brings a perfect one before Yahweh. And he shall lay his hand on the head of his offering and slay it at the door of the tent of the appointment. And the sons of Aaron, the priests, shall sprinkle the blood of the slaughtering place all around. And from the slaughtering of peace offerings, he shall bring a fire offering to Yahweh, the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, and 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them by the loins, and the appendage of the liver, which he removes with the kidneys. And the sons of Aaron shall burn it on the slaughter place, upon the ascending offering, which is on the wood, which is on the fire, as an offering made by fire, a sweet fragrance to Yahweh. And if that which he presents is from the flock, for a slaughtering of peace offerings to Yahweh, male or female, he brings a perfect one. If he is bringing a lamb as his offering, then he shall bring it before Yahweh, and shall lay his hand on the head of his offering, and slay it in front of the tent of appointment. And the sons of Aaron shall sprinkle his blood on the slaughtering place round about, and from the slaughtering of peace offerings shall bring near as a fire offering to Yahweh its fat, all the fat tail, which he removes close to the backbone, and the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, and the two kidneys, and the fat that is on them by the loins, and the appendage on the liver, which he removes with the kidneys. And the priest shall burn them on the slaughter place as food, an offering made by fire to Yahweh. And if his offering is a goat, then he shall bring it before Yahweh, and shall lay his hand on the head and slay it before the tent of appointment. And the sons of Aaron shall sprinkle its blood on the slaughtering place all around, and from it he shall bring his offering as an offering made by fire to Yahweh, the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, and the two kidneys, and the fat that is on them by the loins, and the appendage on the liver, which he removes with the kidneys. And the priest shall burn them on the slaughtering place as food, an offering made by fire for a sweet fragrance. All the fat belongs to Yahweh. An everlasting law throughout your generation is in all your dwellings. You do not eat any fat or any blood.
Okay, very good. Let's go back up here and look at a few things that we want to deal with. First of all, if we remember from last week, we talked about the burnt offering, the olah, the offering that gets burned up. It also gave us what we see over here in terms of talking about the herd. Well, over there it talked about the herd, the flock, and the birds, the turtle dove. But over here we see the separation that they give you is the herd, which is really going to be like the bull, or it says male or female, so it's either the bull or the cow. The flock, and it talks about the lamb, and then also it gives you what you would do if it was a goat. And so I thought it was interesting that, as I said before, when we look at the burnt offering, it gave you the sheep or the lamb and the goat all as one classification. But over here, it separates it. And so it just caused me to think about, if potentially there was things that we could look at in terms of these animals and these classifications that the scripture has made, to think about, what potentially the bull or the goat or the lamb might represent. Because again, the scripture makes the separations between the three. And so I just was thinking about what characteristics that we may, put with, for instance, the bull, right? Because we know we talked about last week where the bull, generally speaking, was something that was only something that was required of the priest, or the king, or something that represented the whole nation in terms of a requirement, right? If you was going to bring something and that thing that you was bringing was a offering that represents a king or the priest or the nation, you had to bring a bull, right? And so over here now it's saying if you decide that you're going to have a peace offering and you're going to use that bull as a peace offering, then it goes ahead and says what, how you do it, right? Because there's more instructions over here than what we had over there, because now we're getting into specifics, right? The last week again we were dealing with just a general burnt offering, and now again we're on the peace offering. And so if I'm bringing a bull, I was thinking about, what kind of characteristics can we put with a bull. When you think about a bull, what are things that you potentially think about in terms of what characteristics that may exemplify? Again, we spoke about the fact that this was the most expensive offering that could be brought. And we also deal with the fact that the bull is giving you the idea of leadership, right? Because it's only those really that are in leadership that were required to bring a bull. Again, except for if it was something that was exemplifying the whole nation. But in terms of a bull's characteristics, some things that you may potentially think about when you think about a bull would be strength. Strength is something that I think about. A bull. When you look and see these, the only time I ever see bulls is like, when they have those things with the guy dancing with the cape, the matador, yeah. And like when you look at those, when you get an up close look at them bulls, them things is like,
Yeah.
it's not. It don't seem like it's just like a cow with horns. Like that thing is like
it's a whole different.
That thing is
yeah.
like muscular.
Steroids.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean
Yeah.
them things,
Yeah.
and they ain't playing no games.
Like monsters.
Yeah, it's like so strength most definitely is something that you see whenever you think about a bull. I was thinking about the two things that I thought about in terms of characteristics that I would put with a bull was strength and like an animal that is kind of self-determined, right? It wants to do what it wants to do, and you gonna have to probably make it feel like it's making its own choices whenever you're trying to get it to do what you want it to do, right? They have the things people trying to ride them bulls. The bull don't want you on the thing, and he's doing all kinds of things.
Once he gets you off it, he's trying to.
He mad that you was doing
he's
it.
mad that you was on it. He's trying to hack you.
Yeah. And so, for me, it caused me to really think about just the idea of strength, right? And being strong. So if we go here over here, let's see. If we go over here, let's pull up a lexicon over here and look at what is that? 2, 3. This word here, Kazakh. Let me make this a little bigger here. Kazakh meaning to be strong, right? To fasten upon, to seize, right? If you season something, yes, that's you exercising strength, right? I'm seasoning. I'm just gonna go ahead and seize that thing you got.
Season.
Right? Yeah, yeah, right. To be strong, courageous is another thing that is something that here it's saying that is figuratively used as courageous, but again, that would be like an manifestation of strength, right? If I have strength, I'm able to be courageous based on the fact that my strength is going to cause me to not be fearful of things, right? And so when we think about the idea of strength, being strong, being to make hard is another thing we see over here. To constrain. Let's see here. To fasten, to force, or fortify, or make hard, right? These are all things that we think about with this word Kazakh. And so, but we're thinking about what we're thinking about here is bringing this thing to the altar, right? We're bringing this thing to the altar that exemplifies, all of these things. And so, why would we be sacrificing, using as an offering, our strength? And again, we're talking about the peace offering, right? When you think about your strength, sometimes our strength, the strength that we have, or the strength that we think that we have, could be a problem for us, right? It could present problems. Our strength. I could be so strong or so self-determined or have such an idea about myself and my own strength. I make it impossible for people to help me potentially whenever I actually need help.
What you just said, I just made a little Shabbat post about it. It was the ego.
The ego.
Because you think you all this and all that, and nothing can bring you down, or you don't think you need whatever, and that's buffing up your ego.
Yeah.
When our strength should be, we know what our strength should be. You're gonna get into it, but
yeah, I mean, go ahead.
But you know what I mean? It's like you basically sacrificing your ego. And I'm looking at it like you bringing the strongest thing in your cattle.
Yeah.
Because not only does the bull, I had to look it up real quick. Anybody don't know the difference between a bull and an ox?
Yeah.
The ox is just a castrated bull, so they can manage it better to make it work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but also your
I didn't even know about
testosterone.
Yeah,
that
down.
Right there. Oh my
That's
goodness!
basic.
Wow.
They're calming
Totally
down.
different.
Exactly. You see, your ox just work. It's just, but a bull, that testosterone is up there. You know.
You see what they even do to the dogs.
Yeah.
You know,
they
when they get them spaded or fixed.
Yeah.
Because it calms them down, but when they're not calmed down, they get real feisty.
Yeah, my dog, they won't even allow him in certain groomers because they say, "Oh, is he neutered?" And I say, "No." They say, "Oh, no, we can't take him in," because they know, like, once he gets around all these other neuters dogs who's calm, like,
He gonna try to
he gonna be
bully
in
him.
there, like, you know what I'm saying?
Little Charlie gonna
that
buck
ego
up.
in there. He like, y'all
Wow.
ain't nothing. You know what I mean?
And so that's interesting because even thinking about this whole idea of, I wasn't even thinking about it from that perspective in terms of a bull and an ox. When we talking about the same animal, this thing from the herd, but now you've done something to this animal that essentially takes away his strength, right? So the bull's not feeling himself anymore, right? And so interesting. So when we think about the idea of offering our strength, using our strength as an offering, that's a powerful thing, because and not the ox, right? The thing with the strength,
Right. The bull,
right? So we got the strength,
mm-hmm.
but we're offering this thing up.
Yeah, exactly.
The strength.
Willingly.
Yeah, that's another aspect, is the willing part of it. It's not as if it's getting snatched away or taking, but it's being offered. And so it takes something inside of you to be able to get to the place. First of all, these things, this is commodity, right? These are things that you need, these things, right? You have these things, they're for food, or they're for work, or this is the best one. He'll make some wonderful cows or future bulls later, right? But you taking these things kind of in the prime of their lives, and you're saying, I'm giving this thing as an offering, right? It's at its pinnacle of strength, and you're kind of relinquishing that strength. But again, we're talking about the idea of what it signifies in terms of the offerer, and we can think of it in that way in terms of us not using our own strength, no matter how real that strength is, but offering that strength up, right? And putting that strength on the altar. And so when we think about kind of what the bull can signify, it for me, when I was thinking about it, it caused me to think about this idea, yes, of submitting our strength. And when we do that, when we're doing that, we're kind of being we're killing our own ego inside of us, our own pride that's inside of us, right? The thing that will cause us, and we're talking about real strength, not even just like perceived strength. You're taking real tangible strength and you're subduing that thing, right? Okay, so let's look at some other things over here. Let me get this, because when we think about the idea of, again, we're able to make the connection between strength and pride, or the ego, right? So let's look up Proverbs 13 and 10.
That's ready.
Yeah.
By pride comes only strife, but wisdom is with those who take advice.
Okay, very good. So the King James says, only by pride comes contention. Right?
Okay.
When there's contention, the only thing that caused that thing was that strength inside of you saying, no, it's what I'm saying. It's what I'm saying. No, it's what you saying is so insignificant.
Exactly.
It's what I'm saying. Right? Only pride brings that. Right? That's what it says. And so when we look, only the strength that's within you, right? When we're thinking about the peace offering, you're submitting that strength, right? You're submitting that pride. Okay, so when we look over here, let's look over here. Galatians and 5 and 19 and 20.
Damn, messed up. So that ox is really just a strong cow.
Mhm.
They turned it into a strong cow.
They
That's what they doing with men today.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
You're right.
That's crazy.
They take away that edge,
Yeah.
that thing that's just.
That's crazy.
That's what a lot of single parent mothers do to their sons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad. All right, just ready?
Yeah. 19 and 20.
And the works of the flesh are well known, which are these: adultery, whoring, uncleanliness, indecency, idolatry, drug sorcery, hatred, quarrels, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissensions, and factions.
Okay, we want to focus on let's see. All right, it's hard to know what this is in this. Let me put it in this version here because we want to practice see this word here, variances, right? Because we're talking about the fact that only pride, we said only by pride come contention. And so when we look over here, this word variance, let me got rid of my dictionary. This word here, variance, which is the works of the flesh, as it said over here,
Yep.
is a quarrel that is by wrangling, right? Wrangling is like wrestling, right? Fighting, contention, right? Debate, strife, variance. Let's see over here. If we did this,
That's a big problem among us, man. Even the
yeah, because because there's a such thing as having a healthy debate
definitely,
where it don't turn into contention and wrangling and strife.
Yeah.
Right. But oftentimes these things kind of debate kind of facilitates contention,
which takes you out of you should love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's that pride that rises up, right? Where the inability to concede or just, agree to disagree.
Exactly.
You ever seen a debate where the person lost, right? Everybody's saying that they lost, but the person
they still standing on their ground, ain't gonna concede at all. Yep.
Bro, like, come on, man.
That's when you give them a hug and all right, bro. I'll pray for you. It is what it is.
And so when we think about, again, this word contention, strife, a struggle, a violent effort to obtain something or to resist a person, claim, or injury, contest, quarrel. And so we see all these things. Let me look at this second one here. Strife in words or debate, quarrel, angry, contest, controversy. Right. And so again, we're talking about the peace offering. Right. And so with this peace offering, I'm bringing this offering that's representing something. These things, this contention, this strife, this pride, this ego, this strength. I'm laying these things down because if I hold on to these things, right, I'm causing war, right? I'm causing a contest, right? I'm causing a debate that's going to lead to contention or variance. And so this idea, this peace offering is a show of bringing this great thing that has this great strength and laying down of the strength. And so it's interesting that when we think about this again, this peace offering, which by the way has nothing to do with sin, right? This we're not talking about sin offerings over here. It's a peace offering, right? And so we bring this thing as this offering that brings about peace. And so we're just thinking about the things that this, because all of these things have meaning, right? It's just not for nothing, right? Oh, we'll just say that yeah, if you just bring this animal here, there's all of these things have meaning and significance, right? Oh, I forgot about this one here. Let's look at this other. I don't want to leave nothing out here. If we go over to, let's look up. Let's see here. What is that? 39 and 19.
It says, the works of all flesh are before him, and nothing can be hid from his eyes. Sirach.
Wait, did I read all of those? Hold on a second. Oh, yeah. So this is talking about, okay, so the works of all flesh are before him, meaning the Most High, right? And nothing can be hid from his eyes. He sees all the things. He knows, what's in somebody's heart, right? He understands these things, where the origination of all of these pride and contentions and things, where they all originate from. And so when we think about the idea of, the manifestation of the works of the flesh, again, we always have to think about the fact that it's not just only about you going through motions and things, right? Because I can do or say all the right things, but in my heart, it still be like a sepulcher or whatever. Like Yeshua talks about the Pharisees, right? This shiny, clean white place that's filled with dead things,
Right.
right? And so the Most High, you can't hide the works of the flesh from his eyes, right? He sees he sees from everlasting to everlasting, right? He sees all of the things. And so when we talk about the idea of again, these peace offerings, and especially this bull, as we're talking about, is necessary for us to be able to be in a place where we're truly laying down these things that cause us to rise up, whether it be against the Most High or against our fellow man. Okay, so let's keep on going over here. Let's look at some other things, because the other kind of distinction or classification we see is the lamb. The lamb. Okay, here, let me just pull back over to where he was in Leviticus in chapter 3. Okay, so the other thing, right, is the lamb. Okay, and so when we think about a lamb, the lamb now, can be symbolic for an individual. A lamb can be symbolic for an individual, right? It's not the collective thing that a bull would be, in terms of the priest who's the leader of the people, or the king who's the leader of the people, or the nation. But the lamb, again, is a picture of the individual. Now, also from a certain perspective, it can represent be representative of the family, in so much that the one represents the many. So, I am an individual that's a representative of my family, right? And so, but it's still about the individual, but it's not forsaking the thing that it represents. Thinking about like the Passover lamb, right? You got a lamb that was a singular lamb that was used for a particular family. You got a lamb that was big enough for your own family. And then also thinking about the thing that it was kind of that it exemplified was that firstborn, right? And so you have the lamb, which signifies the firstborn of the family, right? So we see where there's the individualized aspect of it that can be expanded to think about the idea of the family. But so when we think about the characteristics now of the lamb, with a lamb, for me, I think about obedience, right? The lamb, he's just obedient. He just does whatever, right? Right? He'll follow anyone that really looks like he's supposed to be following, right? There's the lamb is docile. He's not as opposed to the bull he's there's ferocity with the bull, right? But with the lamb, it's just like it's that little cute little thing, that little lamb, right? It's compliant. The lamb is, right. There's compliance with the lamb, right? It'll just do whatever, right? It's easily influenced. This lamb.
Now, real quick, just to add to it, because let me cut you off.
Go ahead.
Because I was like, what's the difference between a sheep and a lamb? It's like synonymous, but a lamb is a young sheep.
Yeah.
So, like a child, you're supposed to follow after whatever authority or whatever, so kind of getting to it. So it's like, okay, so the sheep is how Yeshua said, I know my sheep and they follow. And then it says a lamb is a young sheep that's under 1 year of age.
Yeah.
That's what the sacrifice is supposed to be.
Right. And also you thinking about, when you talk about sheep, for instance, right? They're also creatures of habit. And so they're more able to be influenced in those younger ages, because if you keep on showing a lamb a certain way, by the time it's a sheep, it's going to be stuck in the ways that it learned as a lamb. And so we think about it in terms of the lamb because it's in that kind of that stage of its formative years, right? The sheep then already been the sheep know his voice, right? They're not following just any old one. They know what their master sounds like, the sheep do, right? But the lamb is in that forming stage, right? And so that's important, right? Because with these sacrifices, you're not bringing some old raggedy one that done lived his life already, and like it's an offering, it's a sacrifice,
right?
It's something, the one that got the most potential, you're bringing that one, not the one that you done used up already.
Exactly.
Right. And so so that's significant because it matters, right? And so again, we think about this lamb, it's impressionable, right? And so, but we're thinking about the peace offering now, right? And so being obedient, if something is giving you the idea of obedience, that That seems like it's a good thing that I need to keep, right? But there's times when we have to be able to know who or what we're supposed to be obedient to, right? We can't just allow ourselves to be pulled in any direction, right? And so if we was to think about these things that in order to establish or maintain peace, right, there's things that we can think about that we you know should have removed from the equation. So let's look over here. Let's look at this. Let me pull this up here. If I pull up, let's see here. What does 24:25 say?
Wisdom of Solomon 7:25.
24 and
24.
20.
Okay. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her purpose or pureness. For she is the breath of the power of Yahweh, and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore, can no defiled thing fall into it.
Okay, very good. So what I'm thinking about over here is this here, a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty, a pure influence. Okay, and so what we want to be able to do is be able to, and again, when we speak about wisdom, right? Wisdom, of course, being that that character of the Most High, right? And so when we think about wisdom, that's synonymous with this pure influence that's flowing from the glory of the Almighty. When we allow ourselves to be influenced by this pure influence, right, and just not any old thing, right, and not just compliant to any old thing, because they always talk about this idea of the wolf in sheep's clothing, right? This thing that kind of externally looks safe and it looks like something that as a sheep I should hang out with, but in all actuality, this thing is something that's going to kill me, right? And so we need to be able to be in a place where we're able to follow after the pure influence that flows from the glory of the Almighty, as opposed to just any old influence, right? And so when we think about the idea of maintaining or establishing peace, if I'm moving in such a way that's influenced by the Most High, it's keeping me from doing things that's going to mess up the peace, right? I'm not going to be able to maintain the peace if I'm following after these influences that aren't flowing from the glory of the Most High, right? I'm following after these influences that's causing me. You said what? Now? You said what? Huh? What you? Yeah, when I now I'm thinking about my own. We're back to this whole pride and ego thing, right? What did he say about me? He said what?
When the influences that's coming from the Most High it's going to be soothing and it's going to be uncomfortable. Like you got to get correction.
Yeah.
That corrective part is not supposed to be comfortable. You got some wickedness in you that need to be weeded out, and that's not comfortable.
Right.
You got to sacrifice that wickedness. You need to put that ego down, and that's a battle. That's not just I can just put my That's submitting to the Most High.
Yeah. And there's a lot involved when we think about the idea of that pure influence that's flowing from the glory of the Most High, because as you say, sometimes it's about hearing something that you don't want to hear, but because of the fact that you're hearing it through the ears of the Most High, because you're hearing it through the eyes of wisdom, now you're able to, hear and see what's going on. Be like, yeah, you're right. I do have a big blotch on my face and I do need to wipe it off. Right? And so when we think about this idea of this lamb, right? When we think about the lamb, we're sacrificing that docileness and that compliance to just any old thing, right? Not in general, right? Because we want to have compliance to the Most High, but we have to sacrifice that just general compliance that we sit up here and just any old thing that just comes down the pike without weighing it against the Most High, right? We don't want those things. We want to take those things and go ahead and just allow those things just to be offered up. And so, just like the other thing, we're looking at this thing and we're offering this thing that in some respects can be thought of as being like a positive thing, strength, right? Obedience, right? But we have to be able to put these things in their proper places so that, we're able to be in line with the Most High. And so that's what these things is all about. When we sit up here and look at, when we look at, I say this all the time, we look at the Ten Commandments, many of these things that we see within the within the Ten Commandments are things that just kind of need to be focused in their proper order, right? You could be doing a thing that in and of itself is not wrong, but because you're doing it in a wrong way, it makes it wrong. And so that's the same thing we're saying over here with strength and compliance. Up to this point, these are things that can only be directed towards the Most High and his ways. And when we offer these things up to the Most High, when we get him involved in our strength, and we get him involved in our compliance, and we get him involved in the things that influence us, that's when we're able to be in a place where peace is able to be established. Okay, and so let's keep on going here. So the next animal that's involved that we saw in these classifications over here between the bull and the lamb and the goat, right? The goat, right? When we think about the goat now, I wasn't really able to think of any good things with the goat, right? Because me being somebody who, definitely wants to get, away from this concrete jungle that I live in and get to the countryside and have animals. Every time I talk to people who have goats, right, they have their good things. Oh, they do eat up everything, right? And so when you don't have to worry about like cutting grass and cutting weeds because the goat, they'll eat that up.
Gotcha.
I forgot about that part. I should have put that on the
That
list.
is a good thing, though.
Right? Because and also things that is bad for other animals, they'll eat up.
Okay.
Right? So they have that in that way. They have that thing that's good about them, right? But they love to escape. Right? They'll hop a fence in a minute. Huh?
They got rabbit in their blood.
Yeah, they're excellent leapers. Right? They'll hop a fence. They love to get away. Right? They knock your babies over. Right? They'll ram you.
Yeah.
right? They don't care about ramming you. They'll sit up there and try to exude their dominance over you and ram into you. And so when I think about those things, I think about this idea of just this defiance, right, and rebellion, right? They're these little rebels, right? And so when we think about that, the goat, it's not hard for us to think about the idea of laying down defiance or laying down rebellion, right? Because these are definite things that if we are about establishing or maintaining or manifesting peace, we can't be about defiance and rebellion, right? Those things, peace and defiance and rebellion, they don't go together very well, right? And so let's look over here. Let's look at this very familiar verse over here in First Samuel, where it says in 15 and verse 23. What's that say right there? Let me get a better version here. Okay, very good.
1 Samuel 15:23. For rebellion is as the sin of divination, and stubbornness is as wickedness and idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of Yahweh, he also does reject you as sovereign.
Okay, so when we think about this idea of rebellion, and again, we're thinking about what we see in these different classifications of animals that are used with the peace offering. And this goat over here, which we can very, very easily kind of put these characteristics on this goat, defiance and rebellion. This verse over here says that rebellion is as the sin of divination, or the King James says as witchcraft, right? This rebellion is just like having like spirits over you, causing you to just do this because in the context over here, look, because you have rejected the word of the Most High, right? So you rejected the Most High, his word, that's being classified as this rebellion, right? And then that's put in the category of divination or witchcraft. And so when you get to the place where this individual should have been in the place where he was at a place where he knew who the Most High was, for him to get into this state of rebellion, right? Just total abstinence of truth. The only the only way to explain this thing is witchcraft, obviously, right? Some foul demons must have got inside of you to cause you to turn away and put yourself at odds with the creator and sustainer of all things. Let's see what this word is. What you gonna say?
I want to add to what you said real quick. I mean, even in this society, what's in the entertainment world, sports world, what do they call people? You the GOAT.
Oh my goodness.
Greatest
Oh my
of
goodness.
all time, the greatest of all time. So not only is it uplifting them, giving them pride and making them something that they ain't. And then if you just go on Google, I just typed in goat skull. And how many satanic images pop up with just a goat skull? Like pops up is unreal. And that's what the society the society uses that.
Why did that animal come to be this thing that's associated with all of this negative, like spiritual stuff?
Because of
It's a regular just animal, right?
Well, I think
It wasn't that the goat was, what Israel placed his hands on and sent it out with all the sins, right?
There was two goats. One of them, yeah.
Scapegoat.
One of them they sent away. The other one they offered up.
yeah.
But yeah, but so in that situation with the Day of Atonement, you had one that carried the sins, and then you had the other one where you used the blood for the. It was almost like it had a positive and a negative thing about it. But yeah, the goat was the one. Yeah.
That is a good question though. Like, how did it become the symbol for so much evil?
It's the symbol. Was there a nice picture that you saw with that?
I mean, other than just a regular skull of a goat.
I mean, the Baphomet thing. The Baphomet thing is a goat head with a person body.
Yeah,
a hermaphrodite body.
Well, the reason being is because we know that the scapegoat carries the sins of
other people.
right, and sin was brought in by who?
Satan.
Right. Satan is also looked up as Ham.
Yeah.
Half man, half goat. So when Lucifer lost his position, his name, and all that, he also lost his parents.
Well, also
they associate that with it because of the scapegoat.
Yeah, but see with the scapegoat too, I think I've seen that because that they put the sins on and let it go free. It was free because a lot of in these satanic things, it's like you're free from. Yeah. You can because Alistair Crowley is like do as I will. Mm-hmm. You don't have no limits.
Yeah,
you can do whatever.
Yeah, and I think they embrace those sins that was put on the goat.
Yeah,
right. So those sins to them were embraced.
yeah.
Like, yes, we want to be that goat.
Yeah, if you think about it, remember Hercules when we was growing up. So watch the mighty Hercules, and his sidekick was who? Zeus. Half man, half goat. Guess what he was playing all the time? His flutes. And we know from scripture that Satan's windpipes was like that. Music instruments, So they all associate that with that. And that's what takes you back to the goat figure, and how they made it out to be bad.
I mean, so when you think about it, right? When you think about it, this whole idea, this connection with the goat and all this negative things that go along with it, the characteristics of the goat being this animal that's just naturally rebellious, right?
It is.
It's just naturally. Nobody got to teach it that. It just automatically wants to be that.
Exactly.
It automatically wants to escape. Mm-hmm. It automatically wants to knock you down. Yep. Right? It's just rebellious, right? That's just its nature. And so when we think about those characteristics now, again, when we want to put it in the context of the peace offering, we have to be able to remove rebelliousness and stubbornness from our situation if we want to instigate or motivate or manifest peace, right? Because when we think about rebellion, right, what's this bitterness, right? Rebelling or rebellion or rebellious, right? These are things that this word comes from. This word here, marah. Bitter, unpleasant, resist, disobedient, provocation, all of these things, right? And so again, we think about this peace offering, we're taking these things, these characteristics, defiance, rebellion, and we're moving these things out of the way. We're letting the Most High deal with these problems, right? We're asking for him to take away now these characteristics, these things, with each one of these things, just like with the burnt offering, the offerer lays his hand on the goat or the lamb or the bull, with each one, and so the animal is representing again the the sacrificer, right? And so the sacrificer's offering up. He's letting his rebellion and his defiance, he's letting that get burnt up, right? If it's the goat, if it's the lamb, right, he's letting his ability to just be influenced by anything, he's letting that be offered up, right? If it's the bull, he's letting his own strength, he's letting that be offered up for the purposes of peace, right? We can't have peace with all of these things going on, right? And so when we look at this whole thing with this peace offering, it's important, again, if we're thinking about the different significances of these animals and what kind of characteristics we see with them. It's important to understand that if we want to have peace, there's things that has to be really subtracted from our situation, right? So we look over here. Let's see here. This peace offering really is this one word. I think this might even be I think that says shalem, but I think in the text it might even say shalamim. But either way, we see this idea of this. This word literally means this peace offering, right? Which comes from shalom, which is to be safe, right? Or to make completed, right? If we think about in the idea of something that's making you be completed, especially in the context of what we're thinking about in terms of having certain things be subtracted from your reality so that you can be completed, right? If I'm seeking peace, so I want to go ahead and have my own strength be removed from the equation, right? I'm seeking peace, so I want to have the ability for me to be influenced by any old thing. I want that to be removed from the equation so that I can arrive at this place of completeness, right? It says by implication to be friendly, right? There's things that as being friends, right? There's things that I can't allow to influence me to be able to maintain that friendly relationship. Ain't nobody gonna come around here and say something about what you said, and then I just feel a certain kind of way, and I never spoke to you about it. Right? No, he didn't. I don't believe it. Let me call him up and see about this. Right? Because of a certain thing that I've already removed from my situation, my ability to just be influenced by any old thing. He ain't say that. What did you talk about? Hold on. Let me call him up right now. Let me see. Right? I can't just be influenced, right? Because I've removed that from the situation. And when we think about the peace offering, it's unto the Most High. It's unto the Most High, right? Can't nobody sit up here and say something that they're saying that the same thing is true for the Most High. The Most High has a particular way that he is. So if you sit up here and try to represent him in a particular way that I know don't jive with the character of the Most High, I can just say, no, that's not true. The Most High, he don't operate like that. Right. And so the same thing is true whether we're talking about maintaining or manifesting or creating peace with the Father or with man. Right? There's things that in order for our relationship to be complete, there's things that I have to remove from the equation. Pride, my ego, right? My own strength, my ability to be influenced by outside influences, right? And most certainly rebelliousness and contentions and things, right? If I want this what it called shalem, right? This shalom, this completeness, right? This peace offering. And so the peace offering was a wave offering as well as a burnt offering. There was parts of it that got burnt up, and there was parts of it that were waved. We don't find out all about that over here, but if we look at Leviticus, if we go up some, let's see here. Read for us 29 and 30.
Speak to the children of Israel, saying, He who brings his slaughtering of peace offerings to Yahweh brings his offering to Yahweh from the slaughtering of his peace offerings with his own hands. He brings the offerings made by fire to Yahweh. He brings the fat with the breasts and to be waved as a wave offering before Yahweh.
Okay, very good. So later on, we find out there's other components to this peace offering that involve the waving of the offering. So it's almost like you're presenting this thing to the Most High, right? And they also eat of this thing, which is different from just a burnt offering where everything's burned up, right? With this, there's parts of it that's burned up, but then some of it you partake in, but then you also still have this idea of this wave or this heave offering. So even though I'm not letting the thing burn up and ascend and olah up to the Most High, I'm still raising it up. I'm still involving him in the situation, right? It's not as if, because we talked about before how when we see with the burnt offering, we're giving it all to him. We're taking our situation, we're giving it all to him, right? We're letting it burn up and raise up to him, right? But the same thing here could be true, because even though we're not burning it all, we're taking this thing also and waving this thing. We're heaving it up, kind of giving us this picture of still offering this thing to the he's involved in the situation, right? It's not as if he's not involved, as if we're just only keeping this part. We're able to partake of this thing, and we're still kind of involving the Most High in it. And so that's important, because everything that we do for the Most High, these things all involve him, right? He's involved in all of these things that we're doing over here with this, with this peace offering, right? Let's see here. We see we learn from what we just read about the peace offering that the priests receive a portion of this offering. Let's keep on going down here and talk about the fact that the Most High receives the best part of this offering, right? And it's interesting because we might not think about some of these parts as being the best part. But when we think about the things that they represent, it becomes clearer to us about it. And so when we think about, let's go down. Let's see if we go to verse 3. Oh, right here. We see that this offering to bring that the fat that covers the entrails and all the fat that's on the entrails, right? The fat, right? Let's look at we last week we talked about the innards, this whole word that is also kareb, which we know the word karab is a word that means to draw near or to draw close, but this variation, kareb, is that nearest part or the center part or kind of the bowels, right? The innermost part. The innermost part. Here, let's just see here. Let's just see here. The innards, the inwards, because it says over here, we see this multiplication symbol is kind of a euphemism, right? When we see this, it could be euphemistically interpreted as the word heart, right? And so again, we think about the heart. It is that innermost portion. It's the thing that drives your situation, right? And so that innermost portion, that part goes to the Most High, right? The inwards. But we're talking about over here the fat. We'll talk about the fat a little bit, which is the chalev or the chaleb. Let me put this over here. Let's see. To be fat, whether literally or figuratively, hence the richest or choice part, right? The part of abundance, right? Is that fat part, right? When you grow to a certain part, and then it's like the overflow is the fat, right? It's the extra on top, right? It's the you got all the stuff that you need underneath of that, and then you get extra on top of that. All right. And so when we think about this idea of these innermost parts, these parts that actually kind of if any of these parts, these things break down, that the animal is dead, right? These are not just some superfluous parts. You like that one? You look that up later, right? These aren't just some parts that just don't mean anything, right? These are the most important parts of the animal. Just because we don't see them, don't take away their significance. And so he's taking these parts that are the most important parts, but not only the parts, but like the overflow also of the parts. And so when we think about the idea of this whole thing with the fat, right? It's interesting when we think about here, let me look at this real quick. That is in Romans 11. Let's see where it says that. Where's that verse? Am I gonna need my Bible in order to find it? Let's see here. Oh, here it is, verse 17.
And if some of the branches were broken off, and you being a wild olive tree have been grafted in among them, and came to share the root and fatness of the olive tree.
The root and fatness of the olive tree. And so again, talking about the tree, there's the tree, the root, the branches, but something that's incorporated with the root is the fatness, right? The place where the nutrients and things flow through the tree, like the origin of all of the goodness of the tree, right, is in the root and the fatness, right? So, in that context, is thinking about, the Most High, who is the root and the fatness of the olive tree. And so the thing that gives it the ability to grow and thrive. And so it's that thing that is representative of the source and the overflow of goodness. And so in terms of practicality, we're not going to sit up here and try to eat this thing. It's not going to be kind of the most flavorful part. It's definitely not meaty, right? But we got to think about the thing that it represents in terms of this whole fat. And again, that Kareb is the innards, right? Is the parts, where we wouldn't necessarily think about this thing as something that's the most delicious aspect of the thing, but in terms of thinking about what it kind of signifies in terms of being at the center of the thing, it's the heart of the thing, right? And it's the thing that causes the animal to be able to move, right, and function properly. The innermost part we're giving to the Most High. And again, now we're talking about the peace offering, right? The Most High has to be in control of your innermost part, right? Because he sees what was the scripture we looked at in earlier? It said that the works of all flesh are before him, and nothing can be hid from his eyes. Right? He sees the innermost part. And so that's the part that needs to be given over unto the Most High. Because we could do the external parts. Right? That's easy. And everybody could see that. Everybody could see the external parts. But the Most High wants those innermost parts so that he could know what's what. Right? And so in order to maintain and manifest and establish peace, the main things that's offered up to the Most High is these innermost parts, the kidneys and the liver and the fat and the blood, right? Those parts are given to the Most High. Those parts are the parts that are burned up, right? Because he needs those. We have to offer up that innermost, the real part, the part that's the part that moves us. That's the part that we give to him. Right? He don't want like the hand or the arm or the leg or nothing like that. Right? Because anybody, I could do the things. Right? There's nothing. But what's going on the inside of you? Right? Are you really following after the Most High, or is it just like just a facade, right? Is it just these are just some things that you're doing? He said, no, I want the kidneys, the livers, and the fat that has covered around it, the richness. I want the richness of your innards, the richness of your innermost parts. Get them parts to me, and then you can have peace, right? Because I could sit up here and do something that's nice, but there ain't no real peace though. On the inside, I'm talking bad about you.
Exactly.
Right? But I'm just here. Just have a sip of my most precious thing. Meanwhile, like I hope you choke on this. I'm sorry about that. Right? Right. But he wants the inward parts, right? The kidney and the liver and the fat of those parts. Right? That kidney, let's see what that is here. So the inner parts, the inwards, the kareb, that euphemistically can be the heart. The kidney over here, because he's taking the two kidneys. We look at that word, that kill yah, kidney, essential organ, the mind, right, as the interior self, right? So we see over there the mind, right? This inward part. Like you can't see somebody's mind, right? That's something that's on the inside, right? You talking about a internal situation over here, right? And so again, we see with this peace offering, the Most High saying, I need the heart, I need the mind to be dedicated to me so that there can be peace over here. Because
you can see the mind.
Well, go ahead, talk about
It
it.
manifests in their actions.
Okay.
You can tell where a person that's telltale.
Yeah.
A person's
No,
action
what they
where
do.
their mind is. That's the only way, But
it definitely can, for sure.
But exactly what you said is true.
But I can cheat though. I can cheat. I can do
act.
things.
Yeah, you can act.
I can do things that make it seem like I'm a certain way, but meanwhile on the inside it's different.
Sure.
But that's definitely true. And people could sit up here and say things and deal with me different. Their actions, right? And so it's definitely a compound.
It's a twofold.
It's a combination of things that go on.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the Most High needs all of that stuff because you got to cut the thing down in order to get to the middle parts to give to him. And so he needs all of that, right? So that's the inwards, the kidneys, the liver. Interesting. The liver, where's the liver at? Let's see over here. This word here is a derivative. It says kabed, the liver, as the heaviest. The same as kabed, which is heavy, from kabad, which actually is the same as kavod, right? When we talk about the glory of the Most High, that word is kavod, right? For his glory. And so when we think about the thing that kind of exemplifies the glory of the Most High, a derivative of that word is the word that's translated as liver, right? This inner part, right? This inner working part, who a person really is, right? On the inside, that's kind of unmistakable, especially in the eyes of the Most High, who's able to see all of the things, right? And so again, the Most High is getting all of these things, and the blood, right? Of course, the blood, the animals getting sacrificed, killed. The priest is catching the blood and using it accordingly, right? And so when he does all of the things, when all of these things are done in terms of whichever animal you're giving, whichever significance that we find with whichever animals being brought, and we take into account um, the internal parts being the parts that you're burning up and offering up to the Most High, the external parts that are left over that are still being waved up to the Most High, and He's involved in all of these things. When we do all of these things, we see that this peace offering is a sweet savor unto the Most High. He's pleased with this this peace offering, right? When we do this thing, this kind of this expression that we give, that's a free will expression that we use to offer an offering unto the Most High, whether it be devoted only to the Most High, or kind of be representative of some type of fellowship that I've created, or what have you. This peace that's being established or represented by this offering is doing all of these things in terms of exemplifying these different things. And so I wanted to think about more this idea of peace, the origin of peace, where peace originates from, and how we're able to maintain peace. If we look over here, let's see, pull up some verses here. Let's look at start reading for us at verse number, here, let me make this verse number 8.
All right, Baruch 3:8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from from Yahweh. Hear, Israel, the commandments of life. Give ear to understand wisdom. How happeneth it, Israel, that art in thine enemy's land, that thou art waxen old in a strange country, that thou art defiled with the dead, that thou art counted with them that go down into the grave. Thou hast forsaken the fountain of wisdom. For if thou hadst walked in the way of Yahweh Elohim, thou shouldst have dwelt in peace forever. Learn where is wisdom, where is strength, where is understanding, that thou mayest know also where is length of days and life, where is the light of the eyes and peace.
Okay, very good. Over here, it said, this is kind of the pivot point over here. Thou hast forsaken the fountain of wisdom. Right? Again, we think about wisdom. Of course, wisdom is the character of the Most High. we're able to experience wisdom through the Ruach HaKodesh, and the word of the Most High. Talk about us being in this situation. What's that one verse at? It said, "Thou art waxing old in a strange country, and thou art defiled with the dead." Right? We just no, that thou art counted with them that go down in the grave. I'm just as dirty as somebody who literally is dead. Right? Why? Because our fathers have forsaken the fountain of wisdom, right? The fountain of wisdom, which is the Ruach HaKodesh.
If you wanted to be the goat.
Oh my goodness. All right. You wanted to manifest all of these things that was contrary to the Most High. Right? It said, for if thou hadst walked in the way of Elohim, you would have dwelled in peace forever. So we see a connection over here with this idea of wisdom, walking in wisdom, living our life in a particular way. And when we do that, right, peace is the byproduct of that. If we would have just walked in the ways of the Most High, or if we just currently do walk in the ways of the Most High, we dwell in peace forever. Right? If we would just learn where wisdom is at. If we just learn where strength is at. Right? If we just learn where understanding is at. Right? If you do that, you'll know where the length of days is at. Right? And life. And peace. That's what we talk about, peace, right? This peace offering.
And what points out to me is, where is the light of the eyes?
Where is it? He's not asking he's asking a rhetorical question because he already answered it over here. Right? You forsook the fountain of wisdom. If you didn't forsake it and you walk in his ways, you would be knowing this stuff already over here. Right? So now you got to go backwards. And you got to learn all of these things because of the fact that, where you at in this land, we're over here and you subject to payments.
And we also know the beginning of wisdom is what?
It's the fear of the Most High.
Here it is.
But because of what they done and because of what we actually continue to do, we over here, we up here being subject to payments. We just out here just owing.
It's like when you
this or that.
That's like, say for instance, we in the penitentiary, you in the pod, it's real strict. We got all these rules, and when the warden walks through, all eyes is on him, right? So you on your best behavior because why you fearing that? What consequences you do wrong, giving you that light of the eye because you're watching. You're watching to see that you do not fall. You're watching to see that you do nothing wrong. You got to have that same type of light in the eye in regards to y'all.
Well, yeah, he is the light. He is the light in the eye. Right? We understand we're able to be able to experience peace because we got the light in us, which is the wisdom of the Most High. And having that wisdom in us allows us to be able to walk according to the ways of the Most High. We look over here in Galatians 5:22. What that say right there? Galatians 5:22.
It says, but The fruit of the spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith,
We talking about this right here, peace.
peace.
Right? This is a byproduct of the ruach in you.
Mm-hmm.
The character of the Most High in you brings about peace. When we think about those peace offerings that you brought and all of those different significances that we find in those different classifications that we've seen over there, all of those things point us to characteristics that are contained in the Most High, which we take on when we receive that spirit, right? And the fruit of the spirit is the thing that we're talking about over here is peace, right? These things, peace comes from the Almighty and our connection with the Most High, right? When we think about a peace offering, it's a picture of us in right standing with the Most High and just free will offering gifts to the Most High because we're just, we just in good relationship with each other at the time, right? And just like people could just show up and just have just bullets just for you, right? Because it's just they just you have an established relationship, right? And these things are just given just as a picture of that relationship, right? And so when we think about again this idea of peace being this fruit that comes from the spirit is something that comes when we manifest the character of the Most High. Let's go over here to first let me go to this other version. Look at this. Yahoo. And 26. Start reading at that first verse right there.
All right, Isaiah 26, 1. In that day, this song is sung in the land of Yehuda. We have a strong city. He sets up deliverance, walls, and ramparts. Open the gates, let the righteous nation which guards the truth enter in. The one steadfast of mind you guard in perfect peace, for he trusts in you. Trust in Yahweh forever, for in Yahweh is a rock of ages. For he shall bring down those who dwell on high. He lays the exalted city low. He lays it low to the earth. He brings it down to the dust.
Look at what he's doing over. It's interesting. This one over here, who the one steadfast of says, the one steadfast of you guard in perfect peace, for he trusts in you. Right. And so the Most High is over here bringing down these things that are high. Right. And he's making these things low. That's high. Right. But if we're already walking in his character, right, this ain't us, right? Because we already low. Right. But he's taking those things that didn't never offer that strength up to him. He's bringing those things down to size over here. Verse 6, what does it say?
A foot tramples it down, feet of the poor, footsteps of the needy. The path of the righteous is uprightness. O upright one, you weigh the course of your righteousness, also in the path of your right rulings, O Yahweh. We have waited for you. The longing of our being is for your name and for the remembrance of you. My being longs for you in the night. Also, my spirit within me seeks you earnestly. For when your right rulings are in the earth, the inhabitants of the world shall learn righteousness. The wrong finds favor, yet he shall not learn righteousness. In the land of straightforwardness, he acts perversely and does not see the excellency of Yahweh. O Yahweh, your hand is high. They do not see. They do not adore of the people and are ashamed. Also, let the fire of your adversaries consume them. Oh Yahweh, you establish peace for us, for you have also done all our works in us.
Yes, very good. So it says that Yahweh is the one who's able to establish peace for us, right? He establishes peace for us, right? Any peace that we're able to have comes as a result of the fact that he has already established it for us. And so when we think about the fact that, you know, we live in a time where there's all kinds of things going on, right? But because of the fact that we are connected to the Most High, we're able to have peace, right? It says, "Oh Yahweh, your hand is high. They do not see." The Most High is in control, but the people who ain't connected to the Most High don't know that he's in control. They can't see that his hand is actually high, but they can't see it, right? They don't know that he up here doing this, like Geppetto.
I was just thinking that.
Right? His hand is high.
Pulling all the strings.
They cannot see, right? And so, but we, those that are connected to the Most High, understand that he is in control, and therefore we're able to have peace.
That's deep too, because like there's a lot of people in the world that just I hear the statement from people, I just want peace. But they don't know where to seek it out at. They don't know where peace comes from.
You should already have it if you in Messiah.
That's right.
You should already have peace.
Yeah, they ain't though. That's the point.
Yeah.
And then that proves it. You know? That what's it called? Did you have Matthew 5:9 on your list?
I could pull it up right now.
A lot of times it's like people who want peace ain't this. Blessed are the peacemakers, because they should be called the sons of Elohim. Like you gotta be a peacemaker too. You want peace, and a lot of people ain't even peacemakers. Doing things to bring peace into your life, you know, and that's
we already know that that if you call the son of Elohim, you must be walking in the spirit. That's the only way you're gonna even be called the son of Elohim.
Yeah.
And so if we put that with this, if you the son of Elohim walking in the spirit, you out here doing this. You out here being a peacemaker, and you can't be a peacemaker if you ain't got peace. Right?
Right.
You ain't bringing peace if you ain't about peace. But again, when we talk about this idea of peace and where it originates from, it is a fruit of the spirit. It originates from a manifestation of the Ruach HaKodesh inside of you, coming out. And so Yeshua actually is our peace, right? He is the one who comes and allows us to be able to be in right standing with the Most High and walk in a way that facilitates peace with the Father and peace with man, right? And so when we think about this idea of having peace in these strange times, what does it say over here? Philippians 4:6. What does that say?
So do not worry at all, but in every matter, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to Elohim.
And 7 too.
And the peace of Elohim, which surpasses all understanding, shall guard your hearts and minds through the side of Yeshua Mashiach.
This over here say, do not worry at all. Do not worry at all, it says. Be careful for nothing. This word in the Greek, this word means anxious. Be anxious for nothing. Right? You think about being anxious, you're like fearful. You're like, man, what's gonna happen? Like, am I gonna sit up here and get killed or what? You know what I mean? It's like you anxious, like you having like an anxiety attack.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what to do. Like it's just like I'm worrying. Like I don't know what's gonna happen. I can't see what's around the corner. Like what is this? Like he said over here, he said, be anxious for nothing, but in every matter, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to Elohim, the one who got a high hand over all of the things. If I'm sitting up here worrying about this or that, I'm up here making that thing my God. If I'm more fearful of that thing or that situation more so than I am the one who got the high hand over it, I done put that thing over the Most High and his high hand. When you do this thing correctly, it says the peace of Elohim, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your heart and your mind through Messiah. Right? Them things that was exemplified, you're giving your heart and your mind over to the Most High with this peace offering, right? You're giving it to him. You're saying you're in control of this thing. Yeah. You're in control of all of this stuff that's going on inside of me. Anything that should cause me to fear or to faint or to worry or any of these things to be discouraged, I'm giving that to you, and you're through Messiah or giving me the ability to guard those things because I gave them to you. And now I'm able to have peace, the peace, not just peace, but the peace of Elohim. And that the peace of Elohim don't got nothing to do with nothing that's going on. It says it surpasses all understanding.
Mm-hmm. That's the heaviest part right there.
It surpasses all understanding.
I think that's so heavy. Like it's not. You don't understand it.
According to a regular understanding, you should be ready to jump out the window right now. According to regular understanding,
right?
But this peace of Elohim gives me this understanding that says when I'm supposed to jump out the window, I'm just gonna not jump out the window and be good with it. I don't even want to do it. It's not like I should do it, but I'm not gonna do it because I got this peace. But I don't even want to do it no more.
Yeah. Like I forget it says the wisdom and stability should be the knowledge of good times.
Yeah.
So wisdom and knowledge will be the stability of the times. It's like people be like, how you going so calm dealing with?
It's like Yeshua sleeping in the middle of that storm.
Yeah. I ain't worried about nothing.
Yeah. Excuse me, Yeshua. This that wind's kind of kicking up right now. Come on, do something. Do one of them things you be doing real quick so this thing don't blow our boat over. And Yeshua over there like turning over, like, go ahead, man. I'm trying to get me a couple Z's. Like he pulling his little cloak over top of it. And like, hold on, be quiet, man. I'm trying to get 5 more wings in real quick. Meanwhile, it's a tempest, it's a storm, a hurricane going on.
Crazy out there.
He like, hold on now.
Then he wakes up and say, "Oh, you little thief, little damn little thief."
And so there's no difference between that and this what we talking about, where the natural understanding should have had everybody in that boat, ready to do whatever it took in order for the circumstances to be changed or fixed or something. But because of the fact that the Most High was leading and guiding the heart and the mind of Messiah, he's able to know that, this ain't as bad as you think it is, because I'm in control.
That illustrates to me like trust, just the level of trust, like that you are given to the Most. That's trust. It's just, look, you believe, that's proving what you believe. You feel that trust in there, and it is what it is.
That's faith.
Faith.
That's faith. That's your ability to trust in the Most High and be immovable in your faith. Immovable. So things is going to happen, real things. And according to just regular wisdom and understanding, these things should actually have you ready to do something bad to yourself.
Right.
Right? It makes some terrible decisions based on what's really going on. But over here, we're supposed to not be anxious about any of those things. Take these things with prayer and petition, with thanksgiving. So it's a situation. I'm taking it to the Father. I don't know the outcome, but I already got thanksgiving already. Why am I taking my prayer and petition to him with thanksgiving? Thanksgiving happened after you know what the outcome gonna be. But if I'm taking him the matter in prayer and petition, and I already got the thanksgiving, I know he's gonna take care of it. And that's just a picture of this peace of Elohim that surpasses all understanding.
Just like that, and in terms where it say surpasses all understanding, Shadrach, Abednego, thrown in the fire. That surpasses understanding why they ain't burn up.
Yeah, why they ain't burn up, or why wasn't they even like crying out?
They wasn't even worried about it.
Yeah, I was sitting there then. They come out like people like, what? That surpasses
Let's talk
understanding.
about it didn't even smell like they was on fire.
Right.
I could sit up here and I don't even touch a fire. I'm just close to it.
Yeah.
And I smell like fire.
Right.
They was in the fire.
That's crazy. There you go.
But they had the peace of Elohim, which don't make natural sense. It don't make natural sense because we're able to have removed all of these things that hinder us from being one with the Father. All of these things, this pride, this ego, our own strength, our ability to sit up here and be influenced by these things other than the Most High. Rebellion, stubbornness. We're able to get rid of all of these things and pledge our allegiance to the Most High. And when we do that and we put the Most High in the place where he belongs, we're able to know and understand that he got the high hand, and there ain't nothing that could go on whether we out here making payments or not.
Right. Yeah.
He's over here with us, right? And so, just when we're thinking about just kind of bringing it down to a close, when we think about this idea of this peace offering, we ain't got no tabernacle that we could go and take our sacrifice to, but we can understand the significance of these things that we see over here in terms of having these things, these characteristics, these things in us that take this away from the Father. We want to give those things to the Father and let Him take control of those things, and have the result of us doing that, bring us closer to Him. Right? When we put our full and utter trust in the Most High, the situations, whatever those situations are, as real as they may be, when we trust in the Father, we take our petitions to Him in thanksgiving, we should know that He is in control. We're not going to sit up here and be worried or anxious about not being able to see around the corner, because He's around the corner and He's on this side of the corner at the same time, right? He's taking care of all the things that need to take care of if we give our all to Him. And when we see these things about this whole idea with these sacrifices and these offerings, it's about giving your all to the Most High, and allowing for Him to be involved in your every situation. And when you do that, He's going to bring you into a place that from the outside looking in doesn't make any sense. But to you, it makes all types of sense, exactly, because you know who your daddy is. And I'm not talking about no man either. Okay. Anybody, you got any last parting thoughts about any of this stuff here?
Well, I'll just say this, man. You living like there is no Yah, you better be right. But we know you wrong. No Torah, no peace. No Torah, no peace.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and say Shabbat Shalom. Y'all willing, we'll be back on next Shabbat. Everybody who came and checked out the channel, go ahead, like the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button for all of the up and coming videos that we're gonna be putting out over here. We're gonna have some new things coming out, some new midweek things, and we're just gonna keep on moving forward. Okay, so thank you for coming. Y'all willing, we'll be back next week for some more, and we'll say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.